Back on a Thursday as inflation is now down under 3%. And according to StatsCan, one of the main drivers has been a drop in airline prices. Here is travel expert Claire Newell, who joins us for more. Claire, good morning to you. This might be a surprise to many. Are airline prices, are they really down? And if so, by how much?
Yeah, they're down. New stats came out from Stats Canada and showed that in January of 2024, the prices are down about 14.3% over last January. And this is something we in the travel industry have been noticing since about last April. But the reality is we're still about 10% higher than that we were pre-pandemic. So this is a space availability, the capacity issue. And I think that over the next year, as capacity is added, we'll get it even down a little further.
Okay. All right. So where would you say are the hottest destinations right now as March break quickly approaches?
Yeah, well, it's, we're Canadians and everyone seems to be seeking the sun. So typical places that, pre-pandemic were popular are still popular. Mexico, Caribbean, Hawaii. If you're in the East, Florida's a hot spot, some really good deals. If you're in the West, Arizona, Southern California are really popular. The reality is it's expensive over spring break. It's just the sheer demand is always, it typically sells out before it goes on sale. If you're still looking to get away, I suggest that you look to the Canadian tour operators that package those popular destinations that we all love: WestJet Vacations, Air Canada Vacations, Sunwing, Transat, maybe one of the low-cost carriers that's heading to some of those destinations, whether that's Porter, Lynx, Canada, Jetlines. If they still have space, you might get a better deal than going on a legacy carrier.
All right, but it's fast approaching March break, almost here. We're this close. Meantime, I want to ask you about this travel headline, Claire. A Calgary traveler frustrated after WestJet canceled her flight due to that extreme weather Calgary was having a few weeks back. Now, she took the refund and then was shocked to find out another WestJet flight departing that very same day, but had to take it at nearly twice the price. Are airlines, are they not obligated to book you on the next available flight if they cancel your flight?
Yeah, by law, they are supposed to put you on a flight if there is space available. And this would have been really frustrating for her to see that there was space and that it was double the price. But the reality is there's a lot going on behind the scenes with extreme weather situations. Often we see in the travel industry, it looks like there's space until you put your name and your credit card in. You actually won't get confirmed because that space is held back and they're trying to reprotect however many people they can on a flight that is actually going. But I do suggest that if you have the time and the energy to be dealing with the airline, in this case, you did try to get through and she just couldn't. But if you're at the airport, stand in line, call the 1-800 number and see if you can get on a flight if you're seeing space. But one thing that I would suggest is that you get travel insurance to protect you for cancellation and interruption insurance, because regardless of what airline she wanted, if there was space on another airline, she would have been able to get on it and deal with the insurance company after the fact.
Okay. There's also a Canadian couple who was reportedly stranded in Turks and Caicos after having their passports stolen. Claire, what are their options when it comes to returning home? This could be a situation for a lot of people.
Yeah, this is such a nightmare, losing your passport. In this case, it was stolen, which is so frustrating. They did the right thing. They contacted the police and made a police report, which has to be the first step. And then they contacted the Canadian consulate. Knowing the steps is really important. But the reality is you have to go through the process. You have to have passport pictures to retake and fill out the forms. In this case, the guarantors weren't valid. So it slowed down the process. But again, knowing what the steps are, and you can, if you remember anything, remember travel.gc.ca, which is the website that you can get all of that information on of the steps. Having copies of your passport and birth certificate, and if you need a citizenship card, that can be really helpful as well. But there is often a lag in time. It takes time, and you may need to end up staying a little longer than expected. And again, that's a situation if you had insurance for cancellation and interruption, you may have the costs actually covered by your insurance company.
All right. Also, Claire, I wanted to ask you about that Air Canada flight. We were talking about this on the show yesterday out of Halifax that received an in-flight threat. Now, they safely landed in New Jersey. Do we have any other details on this? And also wondering, what is the responsibility of the airline here, Claire? Would passengers on that flight, would they be notified of this?
Yeah, I don't think that they would have been notified in this case, but that was a scary situation, I'm sure, for the pilots and the crew that were on board trying to make a decision. They did eventually land, and canine units flushed that aircraft. There was nothing on it, so it was kind of business as usual once the people landed safely, and they may not have even known that there was an incident until after the fact. But we don't have any other details, and so this is still under investigation, but very, very frustrating for, I'm sure, the crew on board, and scary.
For sure. All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you.